Hi, this is your Ironman at 50 update, Tuesday, 25-mile bike ride. As you can see, I'm getting going here. It's a great, beautiful day out there. Again, hot as Hades. It was not any wind, so I was kind of happy to get out of that since the weekend rides of down in Fenwick were just head into the wind in one direction. But it was nice. So as we got started here, I was in aero, felt pretty good, and I was actually thinking about how long I had been in the aero position for the 2 days down in Fenwick, and I felt really good as I went through this whole ride. So those 2 days of sore arms and aero position when I hadn't been in it really paid off. So what I was doing here is just kind of showing you, if you know Columbia, the tri courses, this is Route 108 about to turn on to Homewood, which is part of the Columbia Triathlon, the half full that Ulman Cancer Fund runs, the IronGirl, and pretty much every other triathlon that comes out of Columbia, and they're mostly staged on Centennial Park. Once you turn down Homewood here, you start to really crank it up a little bit. Pretty good downhill, a couple little rolls, leads up to a pretty good uphill. And if you went through some of my posts previously talking about hill climbing, and you can click on this link right here. You'll remember that I was talking about momentum going into a hill, and this is a prime example. It's a good downhill. You've got a lot of time to pick up some speed. You don't have to hit it too hard so that you're dead when you hit the hill, but you just want to maintain a lot of speed. And I see a lot of people, and depending upon the races, if they're long races, then you're going to do a little bit of coasting once you get up to speed if you can, to kind of preserve your legs. But for the most part, 90% of the time, I'm usually pedaling on a downhill, unless I'm going hitting at 35 to 40 miles an hour, where I really can't pedal that fast with my bike. So just cruising along. As you can see, there's shoulders. Gets a little bit tight here around this bend, but always staying focused, always keeping your balance, keeping your eyes ahead, and really looking out for anything that's in the road. Today was especially important because it had poured last night, so there could be sticks and things everywhere. So very alert about what's possibly in the road as I'm moving forward. But this is the part in my route that it starts to just about to go the last little bit downhill, and then starts to do a big climb. And like I said, this downhill I'm doing anywhere from 25 to 32, 33 miles an hour. And it's a good thing, too, because as I approach this hill, and you really don't get the justice with the GoPro of this hill that's going to occur or come up right after this bridge here, is you really don't get the sense of how steep it is. And it's steepest up near the top. So I think I'm anywhere down to 8 to 10 miles an hour when I get to that top part. It's really pretty steep. It really makes you work. Again, talking about that previous video that I did around hill climbing, I'm just continuously downshifting so my cadence is staying high, and then eventually I'll drop out of the big ring down to the small ring, but carefully enough where I'm not going to pop the chain and then really cause myself to pull over and really have a tough hill climb. So you can see the difference in speed right now as I'm really just kind of trudging up this hill. And like I said, it's a tough hill because the top part is at its steepest. Good part about it is the downhill afterwards. My normal ride usually takes me through the circle and takes me straight, but what I wanted to do today was go right and just head out towards Route 144 and just do a little bit of a variety of a ride, and that's important. So you want to make sure that you're doing different types of routes, different rides, flats, hills, but not the same thing all the time, because you get kind of complacent, you get kind of used to, all right, I got to attack this, I got to slow down, and you really don't have that sense of change of pace in a different sense. You don't have that ability to look at a new route and how do I hit this, how do I decline, how do I incline, and it really makes you work and think about your pedaling, your power output, your cadence, then your speed, obviously. The only downside about this road is, as you can see, there's absolutely no shoulder. So crucially important, we talked about this in a previous video, is having that bike light on the back of your seat, on the back of your shirt, somewhere where it's just flashing continuously, giving those cars that are approaching you that alert, and really seeing you and giving ample time for them to move over. And like I said, in Columbia and Maryland, there's a 3-foot rule, and there's a lot of advertising and promotion about it. People take it seriously. So it's really important, both from a rider perspective and a driver perspective. That truck was on the complete opposite side of the road, which was great. You really get most of the people taking care and pausing and waiting, especially if there's an oncoming car. So just be careful out there and keep plugging away. One of the rides I'd ridden on early in the summer was on this road, and it was right after a hurricane had touched down in Columbia in Howard County. And as we approach up here, and you'll see a lot of cars coming up and down this road and giving me ample room. So it's nice that the motorists are taking care and really giving cyclists a lot of room to ride and not take any chances with anybody. So I'm pretty happy about that. Most of the time, that's what you run into. So this white picket fence up here is what I was talking about a second ago. The tornado actually came across from the left side down this hillside, came across the road here and into this yard, and it's a house that's up on a hill here, and it must have destroyed 15 to 20 of these massive trees that you see in this yard to the right here. There were tree crews absolutely everywhere. You can see brown spots on the right from where they had to cut down and rip up and grind up stumps, but it was pretty crazy how much damage it was done. So thank God it looked like the house didn't even get touched, so that's a good sign. And as I rode around this area that time, all kinds of trees, but nothing on the houses, so pretty good as far as that goes. So again, a different route, so I'm having a different hill to climb. I'm having to figure out different paces and different pedal cadence and power. So, and again, another road that has very little shoulder, so just making sure I'm as over as I can and just riding along. And as you can see, I'm going at a pretty slow pace here. So it really was a nice ride because it was a very different ride than what I'm used to. I had a bunch of different types of hills, a bunch of different downhills, and overall it was a lot of, I think, continuous output, which I don't sometimes have when I'm doing some of the Columbia courses, because you're doing so much downhill, so much uphill. It's not a continuous drive. So this ride, I was coming up to the end of this cutover to what I mentioned earlier, Route 144. It basically was a route that I was planning to just ride out 12 and a half miles, turn around and come back the same way. That's usually what I'm doing. And here's when I was on Route 144 doing my turnaround. I felt like I was in an Ironman. When you get to the very end, you got to go around the cone, waited for that one truck to pass, came around and started plugging away my way back home. So it was a good ride out, and pretty much the same on the way back. Nice thing about this road, you see a little bit more shoulder. It was a little bit more wide open, had a lot of nice rolling hills, so had some good speed, had some good climbs, and overall I was pretty happy with the ride, especially after the weekend and having to power through a lot of wind in the aero position for a long time. So it was definitely a good positive ride on day 2 of week 6. So this is your Ironman at 50 update for Tuesday, my second bike ride. As you can see the results here, it was a good day. Hope you're out there having a good day, hoping having a good week, getting your workouts in, chasing your dreams. You got to go for it today. So I will talk to you later. Have a great day.